All right, we're live.
Boom, we Gotta Believe Pre-Game Quickie, presented by our friends at Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill, the beer that's going to get us through the next 4 games of slot misery. I don't even know. It's not even the word for it. Whatever. It's going to get us through the meaningless games of September. Shout out to Will Ponds. Couldn't even get us to the end of September in a season like this. Nonetheless, we're back. Luis Guillorme's back. Michael Conforto put on the shelf for the rest of the season with hamstring tightness. I mean, good.
Yep.
We know what happens when Conforto, we saw what can happen when Conforto just swings the bat at the end of the season, right? We don't need to have him out there if he doesn't need to be out there. I think I said it yesterday or the day before. Just fucking put everyone on the shelf that has a guaranteed contract for next year. Mm-hmm. Anyone that's decent and worth a damn, let the fucking young kids play. I don't care at this point. My boy, old Guillermo, is back in center field. Guillermo Heredia, hoping for another bomb today. Maybe we found ourselves a gem here, Kyle.
I could be. I thought he was like fielder. I thought he was a young call-up, and then I looked into it, and I'm like, nope, not at all. Just a guy that we use to fill the gap, like we always do. I think he's 29.
It's probably like Brody's old intern is his agent, and he is like, dude, just give this guy a shot. Throw him in center field for a Major League Baseball team. Sure thing. Who gives a shit? Yep. We did a pretty big I don't know. I felt like it was a pretty big episode today. We Gotta Believe in the afternoon. It'll drop tomorrow. It was kind of a season. It was a lot of Uncle Stevie talk, a lot of future talk. But we also did like a little mini recap and wrap up at the end. I think that'll be the last episode of the year. If we have something else to talk about next week, or if sales tells us we have to talk, we will talk. But I mean, unless disaster strikes, we will have an emergency podcast on what will be our Independence Day. When Uncle Stevie signs, that is the Independence Day. That's the day it's officially we're delivered from evil. Did you see that there was another slander thread about Uncle Stevie? Someone trying to pump J-Lo up, saying how, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
What did it say?
I don't even know. It said something about J-Lo and, how you need to have, someone who's, a minority and in an ownership situation. And then I saw something about Uncle Stevie and his SEC dealings and stuff like that. And I didn't even read. I didn't even give the thread like my time. I didn't even want to give it my click, even though I don't think Twitter. I guess Twitter does measure impressions, but it was just another typical slander fest. So
listen, we live in a society where he paid his dues. He sat out. He wasn't able to manage anyone's money. He didn't do anything Madoff-y. If anything, he made people money. Sorry for the hot tip. And he's good. He's good. He's a good man in my book.
Great man, the best man. Speaking of good men, Kevin Francis Clancy.
There he is. There they are. What's up, boys? I'm just kids. I realized it was 6 o'clock. I said, "Let's go." How we doing?
Doing good. We just kind of just talked Conforto, done for the year with hamstring tightness. Who gives a shit? Just put everyone in a bubble.
Yep.
I said Uncle Steve will rub him with $100 bills in the hamstring.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that to me, if I feel like I would, if I was like Rojas, I'd be like, everybody like gets the night off. Let's call up like the secondary squad for the rest of the fucking season. Give these guys an early vacation. Let's go start a new era and fuck these games, right? I mean, come on.
If the Wolfpack still had the team, Conforto would be playing tonight. I'm fully convinced.
100%. I bet this might have been Uncle Stevie's call. This might have been Sandy Alderson's first. He's not even fully on board yet, but he has an email address. His email address got activated, and he's like, "Dear fuckheads, take Michael Conforto out of the lineup. I'm about to make him a very rich man. I don't want his hamstring popping or his shoulder exploding in the last game of the season again." Signed. Sandy Alderson writes, signed Sandy Alderson. So
it was probably the handwritten note. Have you been seeing the handwritten notes that are going around?
Yeah.
You just walked it right over to him.
Shout out Papa Guillermo.
I'm imagining like Jeff and Brody on a folding table in like the backroom office, like facing each other, just trying to run the show while like all their stuff's getting moved out. Like that is what I'm like picturing. I want that to be the case.
100%. Dude, they are so obsessed with meaningful baseball games in September. We always knew that even when they're not meaningful, they just obsessed with September baseball games. That's what it comes down to. They want to be there around in September. I mean, the infamous Pedro story. Remember that one? That to me is when anybody ever needs like, okay, but for real, tell me what's wrong with Jeff Wilpon. Like, what has he done? Point to that story. That's the one that's like, yeah, this is why everybody fucking hates him. Conforto would have had to be out there, and then you know what? He would have got hurt. He would have popped the hamstring off his bone and missed every fucking game of next year too, because that's how the Wilpons roll. Fucking
yep, 100%. The story about Pedro that like goes deeper than the Mets too, because like what like ruining Pedro Martinez's like body is like a crime against baseball at that point. It's not even against the Mets. It's
he
against all of
baseball. He
baseball.
had a couple left in him or whatever, and like they just cut it short to walk up tickets, which have to be what, maybe like 2,000 tickets. Like, come on.
Yeah. It's like, and when you start talking about that, it's like Pedro, Johan, Matt Harvey. Like there's a graveyard of people, not to put him on their level, but aces that we just rode into the ground.
100%. That note from Guillorme's dad was pretty cool. Sandy Alderson, what was it, a bat boy that got injured, and the Guillormes were like showing him love, and Sandy Alderson wrote that note in 2017. Guillorme, we got to get Guillorme's dad on the show to just fucking open up and roast the organization, because that dude has some thoughts that he's got to get off.
And Conforto going on the IL, Guillorme's back up. We didn't think we'd see him for the rest of the season.
That's right. One last ride for Guillorme. That's what I'll be watching for tonight. I want to see my man do big things and in a post game shout out Sandy Alderson and be like, yeah, this is like, you know, the new regime's here.
We got to get Guillorme on base. He'll pinch hit for Rosario at the bottom of the ninth, and then my guy, or I guess it's the top of the ninth, Guillermo Heredia. So Guillorme and Guillermo. Those are we need that. That's our bucket. That's what we're looking for tonight. At this point,
let me look at this.
Stay healthy and weird shit. We're week 17 football lineups from here on out. I want nothing but scrubs.
That's really it. And like for my one thing, I'm gonna run in and get my kids in a second right here. But my one thing, I just don't want to see any base running mistakes today. That's it. I feel like we're on the T-ball level. Let's like not get thrown out. There's no caught stealing, no pickoffs. I don't want to make the final out at third base. I want to see guys go halfway on a pop-up. I want just solid JV fucking normal baseball base running. And I can go to sleep tonight a happy man.
Not asking for much. That's what we're asking for.
The bar is on the ground, man.
Keep this in your head, Mets fans. What you're asking for today, what Kev's asking for now, like the most basic of stuff, this is the poor boy mentality. We have 4 more games of it, and then we get to be rich boys. We get to move to the nice side of town, moving on up. George Jefferson's. I'm going to learn the George Jefferson dance. I'm going to do the little shuffle. I'm going to fucking go up to the east side. We're going to the east side, boys. We're going to the east side.
Whichever way. Listen, 4 more games of low expectations. Bad vibes and like expecting the worst. I want base running today. I want like a clean inning from our relievers, and then come opening day next year. What am I looking for? I'm looking for 3 home runs. I'm looking for no hitters into the 7th. I'm looking for perfect games. I'm looking for a 10-game lead. We're gonna get cocky. We're gonna be. This is it. Your last 4 games to be pathetic and wallow in your misery. Do it with me. Do it with Clem. Do it with your Coors Light. I gotta run, boys. Carry it through to first pitch, and I'll see you later for the post game.
You heard the man. We're going to get it. Get your Ben & Jerry's out now. Get your pints of Ben & Jerry's. We get to eat our misery away for the next 4 days. We celebrate responsibly with our ice cold Coors Lights and hopefully get some fucking weird, fun shit. Edwin Diaz's song. That's all I really have to live for right now. Right, Kyle? That's all I really
That's it. We're rooting for Heredia. I'd like to see some can of corn plays for McNeil and Dom in the outfield. Yes. Nowhere near the wall. No diving. I just want Heredia to catch everything in the gaps and just call it a night.
And that's all we can ask for. And we'll see how remember. And obviously, you're watching this. The game starts in 5 fucking minutes. It's the weird 6:05.
3:10?
6:05, 3:05, or 3,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's weird. It's we're no longer 7:10 or 1 o'clock games anymore. Rest of the year, we hashed the end of the Wilpon era. We'll sunset it, as they say in the corporate world. We're sunsetting the corporate era, the Wilpon era, and we'll be sunrising the Steve Cohen era. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll see you guys after the game. Gotta believe.